I'm always changing and adapting kind of my recovery for what I do. For me, if I'm like talking to myself in my head and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do 45 minutes of stretching right now. I'm gonna do it, and then I just never end up doing it because it just feels like such a big thing.
Totally.
So if I just start like with like a 10-minute goal of just kind of like some rolling, a little bit of stretching, just moving, I notice that if I do 10-minute things more consistently, I feel good overall, and that works for me.
And you're like more likely to,
and I'm more likely to do it. Yeah.
Got you.
So and that's the main thing, right? Is like it's just doing it.
Do you find you put variation in? So for example, rather than do the same thing all the time, if you're feeling a little bit stiff in your shoulders, or if you're kind of worked out in your legs, you change it up a bit.
Yeah. So like what we just did was kind of, I would say for me was more leg stuff. Like just from running, my legs were kind of burning.
Yeah.
So like what I would do right now is I would kind of these are the three that I usually use these like most for everything. Yeah. Like a roller and some sort of a ball.
Sure.
When I travel, I don't even bring a roller. Actually, I just bring a ball now.
All right.
And so this is like my key one. So I only have one of these ones, so I'll give you that one. Normally, I would kind of start by just under the foot and just like kind of like getting in all those little spots under that feel tight. You kind of feel around, feel where it feels tight, and just like work it. Okay. And
so are you pressing right into it, or kind of?
I get it like deep in there. Yeah. I find like the spot, and then I just like
work it out.
Go back and forth on that little spot. Okay, so then
cool.
From there,
like it.
I'll come to a sit, and I'll just kind of use the ball too, just to work the way back up my calf. Yeah. And for me, that like gets in there so deep. Like my calves get so stiff from running, stuff like that. And so you kind of find that spot and then hang on it for a little bit. And I usually literally just like, I'll hang on it for 15 seconds, just get it nice and good and move it, and then move to the next spot.
I never use a roller or a ball, but it's it works, doesn't it? It really works.
And I feel like the thing that people, or I don't know, that like I used to do is like I used to find a spot and be like, roll it for like 15 minutes. Like I gotta get rid of this spot, but it doesn't. Like it kind of just, I feel like it's more just helping the thing moving.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just, and then I'll just kind of like quickly like come up under here, under the hamstring a little bit. Yeah, if you want to use this too, the roller is nice for the hamstring. And I look at it as like, hey, like blood flow, like pinpointing to that area, you know, and just like, kind of like that glute where like kind of like right along the edge, right where it's like along the edge of that.
You're kind of like hip bone or whatever.
Femur kind of area there, or hip like there. There's like a tight spot right along the edge.
Big time.
And for me, that opens up my legs so much when I go along the side, like back and forth along that.
It does really get in there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The roller's a bit more kind of general.
The roller's general, like you're like, oh, my calf's kind of sore, but with the ball, you're like, that spot of my calf is sore.
Yeah, it's almost like a trigger point kind of massage.
You find those like those areas specifically. Once I've done that, I'll kind of just start into like a simple like child's pose kind of yoga here. And this is where I just kind of like move through some positions, like again, like not like sitting too much or like overstretching it.
Are you breathing at all?
Yeah,
in a certain
breathing,
way? Yeah.
Breathing's a big one.
So kind of in and out with each.
I try to like, the one I've been doing lately is like, sometimes in these positions, it can be like hard to breathe almost. Yeah. But trying to like relax my lower abdominal, like stomach area, and breathe into that. Like, there's a way like I've been finding that I can like relax and let the air flow down there. And this one just gets me so much. And coming forward with your foot like this, and then going knee down.
So what you feeling it in your
kind of like here, like and just like kind of pushing in and finding it, like kind of like moving around. Yeah. And it's just kind of finding those like areas and where.
When did you start doing this? I guess you weren't doing this in your teens. You were just kind of going out there and hammering it. And
just after a couple injuries, you're like, okay, I better start doing something.
What's this stretching thing all about?
And then so now you can kind of like twist and push on your knee a little bit and get that like hip out
Opening up your hips.
Yep, so you're getting that open. And again, it's like, for me, it's like moving to where you feel that spot, and you're like kind of sit in that spot a little bit.
Yeah.
And breathing. And then coming this way. And this one's like a good, like a nerve, I feel like it's like a nerve floss.
Yeah.
Where you try to bring your toes up as you put your head down and kind of slouch into it like that. And you kind of just go in and out of it to the end point.
I've definitely got low mobility there, just behind my knee.
So, and it's just kind of like pushing in and out of the end point. And then next, coming up on your back leg and kind of like locking it and like flexing like your leg, and then like pushing your hips down, and you kind of feel that stretch through the front here. And then you can, same thing, kind of bouncing like in and out of it, like kind of like just like moving through it and like pushing in and flexing, and then like coming out and relaxing, and then like flexing, pushing in. And then I'll come into this guy. Again, more hip, but I'm a big like hip mobility. Like. And then like if you can get down, like too, is like.
I guess hips is just a massive one for surfing,
Yeah,
right?
it is. Everything's moving around your hips.
Everything's moving, yeah.
And then kind of rolling back to your stomach, and just quickly like through here. We don't need to hold into this, but just like as a transition. And then into that, into that, and then right leg. And knee down, and kind of like, like twist and just like kind of find it, and like, and then really like that's kind of like what I would do for like just like a quick one.
Love it.
And then I might come back to something that's like in like another later on, do like another 10 or 15 minutes of a different part of it. But a lot of it's just moving around and just finding those little spots that's like where you feel tight. Have you ever seen one of these? The Shakti mats?
Oh, do you know what? I've got the Ayurvedic foot mats. Have you seen those?
No, are they similar though?
Really similar, yeah. And you can put a towel underneath them, so they like spiky mat.
So I only have one. This one in particular is more of a warm up, but in the mornings I'll kind of like do like a half, kind of like just like leaning, kind of circle through the toes, sides of the heel, like kind of like this, and so you can kind of feel that.
It's like a proper kind of sensory feedback to the max.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're kind of trying to keep that like nice, like strong square position, and just slowly like lean like through each one and find like that spot where you're like
kind of tripod kind of.
Yeah,
and I'm a big believer in these.
Yeah, I really like them.
Cool.
The one and so what I do with it,
you just don't want to use it as a pillowcase.
You know. But what I'll do is like more of a recovery thing is you get it like, you do it with no shirt on. Yeah. And get it like nice and high, like, or low on your tailbone there. And then lay down into it. With a shirt, it's really easy. It's cheating. But then kind of staying like this, and without a shirt, it's like pretty serious. Like you're like, oh, I can't breathe.
Solid, love it.
The stretching part.
Appreciate it. Thanks for all the stretches I just invented. Yeah. That's great, man.